Morning. Chill out. You better watch out, man. That's your guy right there. State champions. Good times. I miss those days. I miss those days a lot. Just stress free. Playing soccer. Good times. All right. Good morning. Morning. Welcome back to another stream. Wait for some people to jump in here. Warzone today. Paisano. Paisan. I wish my grandparents taught me Italian, man. My whole mom's side of the family speaks Italian. Like, that's all they speak. They barely speak English. Every time I go, that's where I was in New York this time. I visited them, and they just all speak Italian. I just wish that they would have taught me and the children. They didn't. I guess at the time, it wasn't. I guess back then, when I was born, it was more attractive, it seemed, to teach your children English than it was to continue the Italian speaking, which is sad, right? Because now, all grown up, now I wish I knew Italian. I know some. I know the bad words, fangul, all those, but nothing. Can't keep it a conversation. Yeah, Warzone today, Jay Price. I'm excited, man. I am very excited. I will definitely be playing that today, without a doubt. So quick with the rectangle. Yeah, I mean, James, 10 years using the same software, you get a hang of it after 10 years. Yeah, I grew up on Long Island. Merrick is where I was sort of mainly, but my grandparents are in Westbury. Carl Place is where they're at. It's a little town near Westbury. All right, let's get started. Welcome. Let's do this. So, yesterday we saw that upside off PPI, but it just sort of faded, right? We never really got the continuation yesterday. We pushed into some pretty heavy levels on the NASDAQ and ES after that PPI push, and we just sort of faded, most of the day. It was a very weird day until pretty much until we got that news about that missile from supposedly Russia. We don't really know yet, it seems. But we really didn't do anything until that news was dropped, and then we got that intraday drop, which really, I mean, it if you really zoom out, right, this intraday drop it looked big on the short term, but it really was not much, right? We never even got close to where we sort of settled out. We were not even close to this 11.7 area on the NASDAQ. So, it doesn't seem like this is being taken too, it's not like it's causing a major downside crash in the market. We'll have to sort of watch how that, works out. We definitely want to keep an eye on that news to see what happens there. But I don't think that was much of anything there. We'll see if that continues. So basically, we're sitting at the same exact point we were at open yesterday, before PPI, before everything happened. We're pretty much at the exact same point on the technicals. So today is either way. I mean, today there's really no really intuition into which way this is moving here. We have a few things on the docket to watch out for. Today we have retail sales. Tonight we have NVIDIA earnings, which could be a catalyst to either direction on the market, right? NVIDIA is a pretty major part of the market. So if NVIDIA has bad earnings, it could bring it down. It could bring AMD with it. It could bring TSM. It could bring Qualcomm with it, which will affect the market to the downside. Maybe that triggers some type of downside move. Or on the flip side, if NVIDIA earnings are very good, maybe that gives us another catalyst to the upside. You're sort of stuck here, and it's interesting to see. I mean, we're going to have to be patient here and see what the next move is. Over the last 3 trading days, we have basically gone nowhere. We have been in, over the last 3 trading days, just about a 1% range for 3 days now. So you're either building up support, right? There's one of two things going on here. You're either building up support, right, at this level, or you're getting ready for a slip of this level and a flush to the downside. So it's not something that we can really read perfectly today, but we can use the levels like I talked about yesterday in yesterday's video. If you want to check that out, we can use the levels to give ourselves some type of insight as to what we need to watch, right? We need to watch some of these levels. So that's what we'll do today. We'll take a look at those futures levels as always, get ourselves prepared for today's trading day. look at a few things over the market. Yeah, Target had earnings, big downside on Target earnings. I actually think there's opportunity out of this Target earnings on Walmart and Costco, and I will talk about that today on Walmart and Costco. I don't think that Walmart's earnings, which were great, I don't think Target is going to like long-term effect, over the next 2 weeks. I don't think Walmart's going to drop with Target here, personally. You don't just get a good earnings on Walmart and then Target, a different company, totally, a competitor that shouldn't really affect unless the whole XLP gets crushed. I think Walmart might be an opportunity on this pullback, and that's what I'll talk about today as well. All right, so futures, as always, economic earnings calendar. This morning we have retail sales, which will affect the retailers as well, right? So we might see a little double. You know what? I'm trying to think back right now. I just had something pop in my head. Was the Target? You guys might be able to help me with this. Was the previous Target downside that we saw, remember that day that retail got wrecked? I don't know if you guys remember that day. We had a retail just disaster. I mean, it was like a firestorm on the retail sector. A fire sale. That's the right word, not firestorm. This day, back on May 15th, May 16th, when Target reported these earnings and completely got crushed, we had Walmart. Look at Walmart, exact same time, dead. We had Costco back then, dead, right? I'm almost positive that retail sales was at that same time. If someone can confirm that, let me know. I'm almost positive we saw retail sales come out at the same time that we had Target and Walmart earnings back in May. I'm not fully positive, but I'm pretty sure I remember retail sales potentially around that time as well. So that's interesting, right? Today we have, once again, let me go ahead and pull that up. We have retail sales at 8:30. Where the hell did that go? There it is. So we had retail. It was May 6th. Sorry, did I say May 16th was retail. May 16th as well. Previous retail sales, Davey. So today, November 16th, retail sales 8:30. That's in about 20 minutes. So we'll see how that affects the market. That should also give a little move on the retailers, right? Target, Walmart, Costco, all those that also just reported earnings. So this could be a very interesting move on the XLP, on the XLY, right? On the retail, consumer discretionary and consumer staples. So this could be something to watch out for today. Of course, retail sales. I remember the retail collapse was off Target. I remember that. But I also trying to remember whether retail sales came out at the same time. So let's watch this today. Obviously, that's our big economic data today. We have some Fed presidents speaking today. Nothing crazy. The rest of the week, we have some Fed presidents again. Bullard speaking tomorrow. Jobless claims, which is normal. Nothing crazy. And then Friday, nothing really here either. So I think this retail sales is probably your biggest economic data for the rest of the week. Looking forward to next week, we have FOMC minutes on Wednesday of next week. Again, another big one to watch out for. U.S. manufacturing PMI, that's a big one on Wednesday. And that's really it. Next week, guys, we have, I'm pretty sure the market is closed on the 24th. Let me go ahead and pull up the market holidays. I'm pretty positive it is. And then I also think it's a half day on the 25th. Yeah, so just to remind you guys, next week, Thursday, the market is closed. Thursday, November 24th, market is closed for Thanksgiving. And then right here, you guys see this little triple asterisk. If you go down here, it says each market will close early at 1 o'clock, November 25th. So we have a nice little vacation. I'm pretty excited about that. I have vacation on Thursday, November 24th. That's how I look at it. And then November 25th, we close at 1 o'clock. Pretty much, you should not be trading on the 25th. That's basically what it's telling you. There's absolutely no reason to try to be trading on the 25th. If it closes at 1 o'clock, volatility is going to be not there. Volume is going to be non-existent. No reason to be trading on that type of day. So next week, it's really just Monday through Wednesday, which is pretty nice. Today we have some earnings as well, guys. After the retail sales, let's go ahead and pop that up. Take a look at the earnings calendar, which is pretty big today. Nvidia. I mean, at least for me, at least for my personal investments, Nvidia is definitely a big one for me. So let's see what happens here today. We had Target this morning, Lowe's this morning. We'll take a look at those. Nvidia after close. That is definitely going to be a big one for the entire semiconductor space. Tomorrow, Alibaba, Macy's, BJ's, Kohl's, nothing crazy, some more retailers. And then that's really about it for the big names here for the rest of the week. So that's that. Tesla, brick wall. I mean, an absolute brick wall on Tesla. 196 is just, it's like someone is sitting there with a huge sell order, which I'm assuming that's actually what it is. There is a ton of rejection at 196 on Tesla. So definitely paying attention to that level today. Target, Costco, Walmart. We'll take a look at those three retailers today. Home Depot. I really like this potential Home Depot trade that I'm watching today. Lowe's had earnings today, and Lowe's did pretty well. And Home Depot held up on their earnings yesterday as well. So I'm watching this Home Depot retail or Home Depot Lowe's setup here over the next. Something just made a noise in my house that freaked me out. So I'm definitely going to be watching this HD trade. I'll show it to you guys today. Nvidia earnings. We'll talk about the semis here. Amazon. I guess I did Amazon twice. Amazon 92. 92, a huge level on Amazon to watch out for today. We'll also look at Microsoft rejecting the supply, the 250 supply, and then Enphase. Enphase is a downside play that I am currently in, and I am monitoring this rejection again that came in yesterday. We'll probably have some time at the end, so we'll sort of swoop around, see what else is going on, and prepare the best we can for today. All right. Press the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. So, here's the 4-hour on the NASDAQ. And I think the line in the sand, right? The level that we have to be watching, the level that decides whether we move completely lower and this market gives up this entire push off CPI or it does not, is, in my opinion, this 11,730, right? This is the same thing we've talked about many times. Talked about it on my video yesterday. Don't need to get into it again too much, but it is very clear, right, guys? We have a previous triple top rejection at 11,730, and we turned it into support back on Friday of last week, and we are now trading above it. It's very, as easy as that. You can see yesterday we sort of pushed up into some of these previous rejection points right around this 12,080. You guys can see right here. We have this 12,080 that is coming from right here. We have a previous support and a rejection, right? So this is a heavy level. And not only that, but if you move over to the right, you have the 100 SMA on the daily chart. 100 SMA on the daily chart right there acting as a rejection point. So you're basically, at this point, you're right in this channel, right? You're in this channel. You're in a 12.8 to 1280 to around 11,730. It's about a 300-point channel that you are sort of trading in here on the NASDAQ. Which side does it go, right? That is what we're going to have to watch today. If we break down below 730, it's very clear, very obvious. If we get something like this, downside is going to come in. If we break below the previous triple top and we do not turn it into support, then that is a bearish sentiment move, right? Because we are turning a previous rejection into another rejection again. If we start to see this, then downside should come in, right? Very clear, very obvious. That's when you start to get aggressive to the downside. Getting aggressive to the downside before we break this demand, this potential demand, is a little bit questionable, right? Your risk to reward is not quite there, right? I would want to wait for the breakdown of at least Monday's lows, also some of these Friday congestion levels. 11,730, that would be the level to look for the downside. To the upside, it looks very heavy, right? The upside doesn't look very good either. We saw yesterday we popped into PPI and we just sort of faded. We couldn't find any type of buying to push this market back higher yesterday and just sort of faded all day and basically are sitting right back to where we were before PPI yesterday. So to me, this is a channel, and I think the best is to wait and see what side of this channel it wants to move, right? Because trading in this channel could be a little bit difficult. It's basically like trading in this right here. If you're trading during this right here, it's not going to be very fun, right? So I would wait for the break of the Monday lows to get aggressive on the downside, or potentially a break of these 12,080 level for a continuation in this channel. A little bit questionable, guys. Maybe the retail sales and NVIDIA earnings can help us out of this channel today. 4-hour chart on the ES. ES, you guys can see, same thing. We had that 4-hour top right around this 39.30 level. We broke above it, and since then, we've just sort of been fading to the upside. Nothing crazy, nothing strong. You have the 200 SMA above, which is acting as a rejection point. And again, to me, you're in a channel, right? I don't know exactly where the top of this channel lies. It's probably right at these previous highs here, or potentially at these highs at 40.80. But this is definitely, all this in here is a very heavy area, right? You have previous rejections here at 40.20. You have previous rejections here at 40.80. And on top of that, you have the 200 SMA sitting above as well. So in this zone up here, it is pretty heavy, right? A lot of sellers stacked up. You can see yesterday, we got a push above that level of PPI and just sort of stalled and just sort of slipped. So the upside is not that attractive to me because of this sort of heavy action up here. You can clearly see this 40.17, 40.20 area right here is extremely heavy. So watch out for that to the upside. To the downside, you could try to short this market, but every person that has shorted the market for this week, right? Every person that got aggressive in this channel, right? Let's say you're shorting into this, it bounced on you, right? Everything. So let's say you shorted into this. I mean, obviously, if you're taking quick profits, this is different. But to sort of hold a downside trade, it's a little tough, right? You get a big push here, it pops right back against you. Yesterday, big push to the downside, pops right back against you. So to short here, you're gonna have to be quick. We could see another downside move and another pop, right? That's totally possible as you are trading above this 39.30 level, which is potentially acting as a short-term demand. So if I go to the 30-minute chart, you guys can see, I think the ES need to get bearish, right? To get really bearish on this, I think you need to break this 39.30, break this 100 SMA, turn it into a rejection, and then I think you get your big slip under this 39.30 level. That's what I would be looking for the the more continuous downside, if so to say. For the short-term downside, sure, you probably can trade some of these rejections up here. I'm sure there's some nice downside to be had off this downside here, but it's tough. It's tough when the market is sort of holding up here and you can't really trust these moves too long. I would want to see a break below this 39.30 for this rejection play, and then I would like to maybe take, this would be a nice little short entry right there for a nice continuation move right there. That would be a pretty clean one. That's what I would be watching for the short side. But until we get that, I'm not going to pull my hair out and try to scalp, this intraday sideways action. It's not really what I like to do. I've gotten to the point where, that is just mentally draining, and I want to look for those bigger moves. So the bigger move to me is a rejection of 39.30 or a continuation move maybe above this 200 SMA. Until then, looks like a lot of chop to me. So let's see what retail sales does today in about 10 minutes, see if there's any type of continuation there. Dow Jones is basically just chilling above this 33,370. This is the exact level. Oh, that's actually funny. This is where we came back to on that news yesterday. I didn't even realize that. I don't know if you guys, if you were here yesterday, we drew out this line here, 33,370, and look at where the Dow held on to yesterday after that intraday drop. Look at that. Right there, perfect level, right to the 33,370. So it looks like to me the Dow is a great short entry below 33,370, right? If you get this move and you see this rejection, boom, short entry, beautiful right there. If you can get that downside play. But until then, what is it in? It's in a very distinguished channel. A distinguished gentleman. No, it's a distinguished channel here, up above 34,000, down below 33,370. You're basically just chopping here. I would wait for the break of either side, right? Russell, RTY, same exact thing, right? Just sort of chilling above this previous high. It's still, right, guys, if you're, I know a lot of people are, looking to see where this market starts to fail, but if we are just focusing on these levels, if we're focusing on how the market is reacting, this is bullish on the Russell still, right? If we are using technical analysis, this is bullish. It's still bullish. Why do I say this is bullish? Because you are holding a previous rejection point as support, right? That is a bullish thing. It's a higher low, right? And it is creating a stair step to the upside. So until that breaks down, I don't think you can get too bearish here until you really start to see this break, turn it into a rejection, maybe reject the 200 SMA here, right? You can see that 200 SMA coming across. But until this market starts breaking down the previous lows, you got to be careful because, I know a lot of people want to jump on this thing short after this big push. But if you're too early when the market is still making higher lows, if you're too early when the market is still creating previous highs into support levels, you can be sort of fooled out here. So watch out. Watch this 1870 on the Russell, a previous rejection point still creating support. I would want to wait until it actually breaks down and actually shows me confirmation that it's going to start to slip, right? I don't want to be the first one here. I'm not trying to front run this move. All right, guys. So once again, I would want to see, if you're looking for downside, I would want to see 11,733 give up. If you're looking for upside, you want to see 11,733 hold as demand. On the ES, if you want to look for downside, I would want to see 39.30 lose and start to break down. If you want to see upside, you need to see 39.30 maintain support. And on the Dow, you want to be looking at this 33,370. If that turns into support again, then watch out for the upside. If you break this level and start to turn it into a rejection, you have your confirmation for potential downside, right? So that's what I would be watching today. Those are my levels. Make sure to put them on your charts. And that's that. You know what? Let's look at the Dixie. What's the Dixie doing? Dollar is it down this morning? It did pop yesterday, but it's sort of given back some of that pop, the dollar. So that's interesting. Watch that. What's the VIX been up to? VIX popped back. Oh, this is yesterday. Okay, that's yesterday. The VIX popped because of the missile news. Yeah, VIX is creeping up a little bit. That's something that a lot of people have been talking about, right? Market's moving up, but also the VIX is moving up. So it's something that people are sort of monitoring as well. All right. Let's go Tesla. So Tesla is on the verge of a big move to either direction, in my opinion. If we go to the 30-minute chart, you guys will see that this is very interesting here. Tesla, I'm going to delete this for now, but Tesla is just sitting at this 196. It cannot get over this level. It tried to get over it yesterday, and it got rejected. It tried to get over it in the pre-market, and it got rejected again. And so, it could be a fantastic short entry, right? This could be a fantastic short entry if we start to break down this. I'm not so sure it's a bear flag. I mean, it's sort of there if you include these wicks, right? You can see those wicks. If you do include these wicks in this analysis, you can see the wick here, and it's sort of reaching up into that bear flag again. So this is something that I'm definitely watching. This could be a very massive downside move, right? If this really gives up this flag, if we just reject this 196, this could be a massive downside move here on Tesla. I would just sort of monitor some of these previous lows, right? You can see these previous lows have been very difficult to give up. So you can see like right around this 192 level, this is yesterday's lows, right around 192. I would watch maybe these lows here around 191, these lows around 188. So you have these lows, which if you just look at the previous week, the price action, every single time Tesla has dived to the downside, it's gotten popped back up. Big dive to the downside, pop back up. And then this day was just sort of flat overall, basically an inside day, right under 196. So I'm probably going to watch the 192 today on Tesla, right? You can see right here, this 192 is what I'll be watching. This is yesterday's lows. I think if you give up 192, yesterday's lows, you could definitely see some continuation to the downside. Or if you do hold this 192 again, watch for that rejection up at 196 again. But right now, if you do zoom out to the 30-minute chart, this is getting very tight. And when you see Tesla get this tight, I'm going to be under the assumption that there is a big move coming to one single direction. And it could definitely be, it could be downside under this bear flag and a 196 rejection, or it could be a big push over 196, and then a continuation move. So watch Tesla today. I think a big move is going to be, is trying to form here. It's not going to be this tight forever, right? We're not going to just trade in this little $2 range forever. There's going to have to be a day where one of these sides gives up. And that's where you want to be taking advantage of it. All right. Let's go ahead and jump into Target. Target, big downside off earnings, and Target basically just came right back down to where it was before this week. Pretty much just gave up the entire week's move. So you can see back last week, this was back on the 10th of November, so about 6 days ago, we started this big push to the upside. We got right into the 200 SMA, right into that 183 level, and just straight down off that level. So hey, if you took Tesla or Target puts because of technicals, then this would have worked out for you fantastic, even if it had earnings, right? Let's say you didn't know earnings were coming out. Let's say you just, wasn't paying attention, and you just said, hey, I'm going to take Target puts at the 200 SMA and this previous rejection point. You would be waking up very happy today. So the technicals worked out, even with earnings coming out, and you can see straight to the downside. I don't know how this continues, guys, to be quite honest. This is a big chop fest down here. You have all this chop here. You have some previous support here. I don't quite know how this works out on Target today. This is going to have to just be a watch and see type of move on Target to me. How does the continuation come in? Does it hold this area? It's trying to hold this previous low right around this 150. What is this? This 151, right around 152, 152.50. It's attempting to hold this previous low right now. You guys can see right here. So maybe watch out for that 152.50. But what I'm more interested in is these Walmart and Costco retests. This is what I'm more interested in to try to take advantage of this Target downside. So for me, I personally don't believe that Walmart should drop off of Target earnings. I don't think that is, unless the whole sector just dies here, maybe off retail sales in 2 minutes. I would want to see if Walmart can pull back to this 144, and if it can, I would look to go long here. Right, I would look to go long to try to take advantage of a downside off Target. I like this previous rejection point on Walmart right here. Rejection, rejection, rejection. You can see this would be a nice break and retest. And if we can start to build some type of demand at 144, right in this general area, I would look for it to bounce off this level. So I'm going to be watching Walmart at 144 today. That is a big watch for me today to see if I can take advantage of that downside off Target. And then Costco is another one. Costco, right at the retest. So Costco is a previous rejection point here, the 200 SMA, and we are right back at it off of Target earnings. So I'm going to be watching that 513 level on Costco here today. Previous rejection point, 200 SMA. If that 200 SMA turns into support at 513, then I would be looking to see if I could play this back to the upside. All right, we got retail sales coming out here any moment. Let's see if there's any reaction here on the NASDAQ. Let's go ahead and pull up the news. All right, first reaction looks to be down-ish. Nothing too crazy yet. Let's see what the news is. All right, a little bit more continuation there. This could be good for that downside off the retail sector, with the retail sector, possibly giving Target another punch in the face, really. Let's see. This is a little bit, let's see, how much is this? Yeah, it's getting close to those lows. It's sort of wicking back up, though. It's a little wild right now. So nothing too convicted yet. You can see it's sort of wicking right back up. Trying to wait till I get the here we go. Retail sales plus 1.3. Consensus was plus 1.2. X autos 1.3. So it's pretty much on par with the retail sales is pretty much on par with consensus, slightly higher. Import prices minus 0.2. Consensus was minus 0.4. I mean, it's pretty much in par. So it looks like the market is a little bit downside off that. Looks like it's a little bit of a reaction to the downside, but nothing too crazy. What did we move? I mean, this is 0.3. What's the ES doing? ES is a little bit to the downside as well, 0.2. Let's go ahead and zoom out here. So a little bit of downside on retail sales. You can see right there, but nothing that's really continuing as of yet. What did Target do off that? Target, not much movement off that. Walmart, what did Walmart do off that? Walmart, a little bit of upside there on Walmart off that move. Costco, it's just too liquid here to even look at it. XLP, XLY, nothing really moving there. Yeah, the ES already has wicked that entire move, and it's actually now turning green here. So you have wicked down and now turning green on the ES. Same exact thing on the NASDAQ. I'm going to assume this goes absolutely nowhere. That's my assumption right now, is that this goes absolutely nowhere. So let's see. But right now, retail sales pretty much on par, guys. I would say, as of right now, a non-event. But let's see how those retailers react intraday. All right. Lowe's and Home Depot. So you guys can see here, Lowe's got a little bit of upside off earnings, right? You can see this upside off earnings. If we go to their earnings, you can see that they had a sales rise and a boost. They boosted their full year adjusted profit guidance, which is a very positive thing for Lowe's, right? We had a full year adjusted profit guidance boost, right? We pushed that guidance up. That is good for Lowe's. I think that is why you are seeing a little bit of upside there. I think that is the most important thing that that was said on the earnings. Now, this is what I'm more interested in right here. I am interested in this 4-hour break and retest on Home Depot for me last week off of. You would think my friends know that I live stream every morning, right? But they call me during a live stream. I like this. You can see this push on Home Depot up above 300, right? You can see the big push above 300. You can see we came back to it on earnings. Now, when we came back to it on earnings, right, you can see that we went ahead and found support at 300. 300 was a previous rejection point right here. It was a previous rejection point right here, right there. And then you can also see on top of that, it is the 200 SMA, right? It is the 200 SMA that pulled back and it held it as support. So I'm definitely going to be watching this, right? This could be a very nice break and retest and a continuation on this sector. Home Depot, home builders, you have Lowe's that had good earnings and pushing higher off of it. And Home Depot might see a little bit of sympathy off that. And if it does, I like where this is setting up. I would have a stop loss under 300, right? If I did take a swing trade, I'd have my stop loss under 300. I don't want to see it under that. And then I would look for that push into the next level around 330. So definitely something I'm watching here, guys. Definitely something I am watching here on Home Depot. I like this setup. I'm going to monitor it today. All right. NVIDIA has earnings today, right? We see a little bit of downside in the morning on NVIDIA. I think it's just sort of preparing for earnings. I don't think you're going to see anything crazy today on NVIDIA unless people maybe sort of scale out before earnings, take some risk off, which is not telling of where the market or where NVIDIA should go, right? If you see downside on NVIDIA, it's most likely risk off before earnings, some selling, some profit taking after a big push. It's not telling as to what is going to happen on earnings. Don't think that because NVIDIA is potentially down today that you should buy puts on earnings. That is the total gambling, not terrible mentality. Do not trade like that, right? If you see downside on NVIDIA, don't say, oh, NVIDIA is looking weak, let's buy some puts on earnings. I think if it does move lower, you're getting risk off, you're getting profit taking. You can look what NVIDIA just did, right? So if someone is trading NVIDIA, if they maybe bought shares or options, they're going to start to sell here into earnings. They just got a very nice push into earnings. I'm sure a lot of people are going to sort of try to take some off there. So NVIDIA earnings today, you can see I would maybe watch if there's any type of intraday trade on NVIDIA, I would look for a pullback to 163.50 and then see if something supports there. But the reason I bring up NVIDIA today is because of earnings, which also will affect the other semiconductor stocks like AMD. And I love this AMD setup today a lot. This is definitely something I am watching today. If we get upside on this market today, I am very focused on this AMD setup. You can see this is a previous double top support that we have slowly pulled back to, right? I like how we came back to this level. I like how we slowly slipped back to this level. We did not knife down into this level, right? We did not get very aggressive. We didn't, sort of jump straight into this level. That makes it a little harder to trust. But we slowly slipped back. We pulled back a little bit off the lower volume here, back into this 75, previous rejection point right there. If I see any type of market upside today, I am definitely looking for a AMD break and retest of 75. That is definitely a major watch for me today. TSM, I'm going to assume TSM continues. TSM has a ton of bullishness behind it. You have the Warren Buffett news. You have Arizona chip factory news. TSM is coming off of a crazy weekly demand level. You might still get some upside here. I think that little, that feeling of euphoria is still there for TSM here. Really strong day yesterday, sort of held up again today. And I would watch this again. I'm not going to be a buyer up here. It's too extended for me. TSM's a little bit too extended for me here to be a buyer. I'm going to look for the first pullback, wherever that comes, the first, red day, maybe an aggressive red day, I'll look for it. But right now, if you want to try to trade the momentum, it still looks very strong. It is still holding up this move really, really well. This $80 level looks to be the line in the sand. You can see right here at 80. That's your sort of key psychological level here on TSM. If we go to the 15-minute, look at the 80 level over the last day. So you have 80 support here. You came back down, held 80, came back down, held 80. And if you hold 80 again, I would say that continuation just sort of creeps again. It sort of curves back to the upside off of 80. Once you break 80, right, then I would say this could really flush. And then if it does, I'll be looking for opportunities to the downside. And then also looking to see where this sort of settles out, right? But TSM 80, watch that. AMD 75 retest, watch that. NVIDIA earnings today, be careful there. You have Qualcomm. What has Qualcomm been up to? I haven't really been looking at Qualcomm. Qualcomm sitting right at this major level. Look at that. So Qualcomm right here around this 128. Pretty major level here. You can see previous support, previous rejection, previous potential rejection again. So Qualcomm at a big level here today. Intel had some news yesterday. It was Intel liable to pay $949 million for VLSI patent infringement. So I don't know how that affects Intel today, but they definitely had some news yesterday about a patent infringement. It doesn't look like it affected the stock a whole hell of a lot. Sort of flat here in the morning. So big day for semis. I would watch out for them. I like that AMD 75 retest. I like that TSM continuation. Let's see how this all works out. Amazon. So if you guys remember, we talked about the supply on Amazon at 102 to 105. It's a little bit of a range, and we talked about this supply right here, right? You can see yesterday we got to push into that supply. Right here, we got to push into that supply and look at the reaction as you pushed into that level. Here's the hourly chart. We were saying do not look to go long until Amazon gets above 105 and turns it into support. There is no reason to go long here until Amazon can prove to you that it can break above the 105 rejection level. That is a double top rejection that you do not want to mess around with trying to guess and hope that it breaks out. That's not how you trade. All right, wait for it to show you that it's going to try to turn it into support, then go long. So I still think Amazon is weak here. I still think there's a lot of heavy action above Amazon in this 102 to 105. Big time double top in previous supply. If Amazon breaks 97, 98, is that the level I put on there? I got that all messed up. It's 98. It's not 92. If Amazon breaks 98 right here, I think you could see downside. So if the market sort of gets weak today, I would definitely have my eyes on Amazon here. Under 98, watch for that flush under this level. If it flushes, right, you really don't have much support. You have potential support around 95, and if you break 95, you could definitely start to come back into this CPI move here from Thursday. So 98, must hold on Amazon. Maybe there's a demand trade today. If the market is strong, maybe you can catch this off demand again. But this is a crucial level to be watching here. I'm going to go to Google real quick because this is also a level that I've been watching. You guys can see right here, 97. My friend's texting me about Warzone. Yeah, friend, we got a squad in Warzone that is a pretty diehard squad. So, Google 97, rejection here. You got above it, right? You got above this double top rejection. This is another one that I have actually an alert on. You can see my alert that's set right here. I would be watching Google if it can pull back to 97. If this can turn into a retest, I would be looking for this push to the upside. All right, I would be looking for the push to the upside off of 97 if you get that pullback. That is very similar to what AMD has done, right? You can see right here, AMD has pulled back to this retest. It looks very similar to Google here. I would look to see if Google can do the same. Next one I wanted to look at was Microsoft. Microsoft is at a insanely important level here as well. It's 240. 240, there is literally nothing below it. It is like do or die right here on Microsoft at 240. If you break 240, you're free falling. You just think about the song Free Falling in your head. That, in my opinion, that's what you're looking at. So 240, I think, is a very, very important level here on Microsoft. If you break that, you have nothing but CPI upside. This is a big shelf on the price action here. Watch out for that. If you can hold 240, right? If you hold this level again, maybe there's a demand play. It's just like Amazon. This is pretty much identical to Amazon here. Amazon, you guys can see, we have this shelf that is formed around this 92. Right here. Nice shelf that is formed. You break below that, turn it into a rejection. Downside, same exact thing as Microsoft. 240, very clear shelf has been, sort of built here at 240. You break below that, you turn it into a rejection. You got a lot of free space down here. If there's a strong market, then maybe you can catch this off demand again. So I would watch this level on Microsoft today, 240. Enphase. I really, so here's my mindset, right? I'm not so sure, right? This is me I'll just let's just take a second and sort of throw theories out there. Let's hypothesize here for a second. That's sort of what my idea is on Enphase. I think this Enphase upside is a little bit ridiculous. This reminds me of the tech market. This reminds me of the tech market before 2022 happened. That's what this reminds me of. It looks very similar to something like Upstart that sort of just pushed higher due to, the market conditions sort of being with it. And then once that flipped, it just sort of died. Now, I don't know. I know Enphase's financials are a little bit better than Upstart, but this looks very similar to me. And when this solar sector dies off, right, I think there will be a time where the solar sector dies off. I don't think the solar sector is going to be red hot forever. And when that happens, I definitely want to be looking for the other side of this move on Enphase. Definitely interested in this. I'm not, I'm in it real light. I'm in about a $600 position size on a put option. If it goes to zero, I really don't care. But I wanted to get a starter up here, and I definitely will be looking to get into it heavier if I start to see this move give up. I think this is an insane move on Enphase. This stock was, look at this. This stock was 12. It was a penny stock back in 2019, right? You were a penny stock in 2019, and you are up to $325 a share. If this does not remind you of stocks like this, or like this, or like this, right? Then, I know it's hard to sort of get the picture, right? No one would have thought that Zoom is where it's at today. No one would have thought at the time where Upstart is at today, right? No one would have thought Upstart's at $14 after seeing this last year. No one would have thought Peloton would be a complete shit company after seeing this last year. So it's early, right? We're early to this. We're too early to this, to be quite honest. But this is very interesting. So I am going to watch this. I just wanted to put it out there. FSLR is another one that is definitely a huge upside move. You guys can see here, FSLR has moved from $11 to $160. So I don't know, guys. I'm just going to put it out there. I'll let you know how I sort of play this. I'm going to start to take little positions here and there to see if I can time this. But I have a $600 position size put. I think I have a 240 put for January right now. I think I bought it for around $600. I'm just holding it. I think I'm down on it a little bit. But I would definitely consider it, right? I would look at it. I would do your research, see what you think about the solar sector, and know that there is going to be a second side of this chart. It's not going to go up forever. There's going to be a second side of this chart, and it's a matter of when. The biggest thing that I think affects this is, and I don't want to get political here, but it's the Democratic push for clean energy, right? That clean energy push, all the desire for clean energy, all that push from the Democratic Party. I think that is what's pushed this the most. And I think that could be, if there's a flip in that, right, I think that could be where you start to see this die off. And I don't mean to get, that's straight facts, right? That's not political. That's just straight facts. All right. So that's something I would watch. Let's go over your tickers here today. Let's pull that up, see what you guys wanted to look at from today. I'll go ahead and pull up that ticker form. All right. What do we got? We got ZS. We did Microsoft already. All right. Let's go over these. So ZS, CVX, JD, Adobe, Goldman Sachs, and Meta. That's what we're going to go over here today. All right. ZS. We already did NVIDIA. So ZS is sort of trying to maintain this 142. What's this? Yeah, it broke below this level, so be careful. It looks like it's trying to get back above it, though. Right here, 143. You can see this previous demand that was sort of built right here. Boom, 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 boom. I would look to see if it can hold that 143 again. Maybe it can get going again, but just be careful, right? It's in a downtrend. It needs to hold on to that 143. I would look to see if it can really maintain that 143 level. CVX is at all-time highs, I'm pretty sure. Yep, CVX all-time highs. I would want to see a pullback to all-time highs, right? All-time highs pullback, that's what I would look for to go long if you want to see more upside. If I go back to the weekly chart, you guys can see right here. I would want to see a pullback. It already sort of did it, but I would want to see something like this, pull back to that 182, look to see if you can catch that long. But right now, I would not try to chase the all-time high push on the energy sector. I just don't think that is a good idea to be chasing all-time highs on energy. JD, you can see it sort of held this weekly demand. Let me get a little bit more time here. So JD held that weekly demand down at 32. You can see right there, 32. That's this level we actually had already on the charts. 32, nice weekly demand. I would just watch out, if this continues, watch out for this 62 high. That's where, look at all these rejections that came in at 62. So watch out for this 62 on JD. Adobe, weekly demand again, right? Look at that. Nice weekly demand. This looks very similar to stock like TSM that bounced off weekly demand. So you have a lot of stocks that are actually starting to push off these weekly demand levels. This is also the COVID lows on Adobe. So congratulations to you guys that took advantage of this. If you were buying Adobe for shares or longs here at COVID lows, boom, man, that is sexy. Very nice push off the COVID lows there on Adobe. I would look for the retest of this right here. I just saw it here. I would look for the gap fill and the retest of these lows. That could be your rejection point. So watch out for that right here around this 360. You have a gap to fill, and you have the previous lows and the 100 SMA as well. Watch out for that 360 area on Adobe. Goldman Sachs, another one that's pretty much vertical. Can banks continue? Let's just think about it logically, right, guys? Do we really think Goldman Sachs is going to continue vertical? I find it very hard-pressed. It's hard-pressed to believe that. So I think you need to see something on the pullback here, guys. Banks do not move up like this typically. So you need to see a pullback here. I would say the pullback is 373. 373 is where I'd look for the pullback. Meta is, what's Meta doing today? It's sort of sideways yesterday with the rest of the market, but I'm still I still believe that there's potential for the gap fill to 122, right? Gap fill to 122 is what I'd watch. All right, guys, I got to head out. I got to head out to the Discord. If you guys want to trade with me, trade with everyone else in the community, feel free to check that out. It's down below. It says trade live. If you want to get free technical analysis, this is the futures technical analysis that I post every single morning. It says down below free technicals. And in that free technicals Discord, you can upgrade for $5 a month. You can get my analysis on individual stocks. So basically every day I use the Desi TA section. I'll pull it up here. Every day, right, in the morning, I post all these charts that we talk about, all the technicals, right? This is all today. And for $5 a month, you can upgrade to that if you want in that free technicals Discord. This list goes on forever and ever. But if you're interested in my technical analysis, if you like what I do here, feel free to support by checking that out down below. All right, guys. I hope you have a fantastic day. Press that like button before you head out. Subscribe to the channel if you want to stay tuned for more. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.
Thank you.